of experience, there are three important phases. And the first phase is preparation. The second one is the experience itself. And the third one is the processing afterwards. Now, it doesn't make any difference which medium you're using. These three phases will always be there.
It's just absolutely clear to me that consciousness is not possibly the product of the brain. It exists or can exist independently of the body, and that it's at least an equal partner, or possibly supraordinated to the world of matter.
By contemplating the images of mythology, we get in touch with those powers within ourselves.
I'm going to step off the limb now.
We are animals. We are beautiful, living mammals on a garden planet. Feeling the pleasure and the joy and the ecstasy of that reality is our birthright.
It took 14 billion years on this planet for evolution to create a species capable of understanding evolution and capable of understanding nature, the atom, the gene, the brain, such that we can either co-destroy or co-evolve.
The journey is about to begin.
Noosphere, the hyperorganism consisting of the interconnected totality of all sentient beings and the higher level of consciousness possessed by it.
The planet doesn't have any problems except people. What we are experiencing, the global crisis, is really reflecting somehow the level of consciousness evolution in the species. I mean, if we could have our heads and hearts in a different place, you know, the planet could look very, very different.
Joseph Campbell did so much to bring to our consciousness the fact that the world's mythology, as vast as it is has a single theme running through so much of it, of the hero's journey. And he saw three phases to this hero's journey: separation, initiation, and return.
Exploration of the stranger and odder areas of the human mind. I mean, this is one of the things which has emerged, I think, in recent years. Not only is the material universe incomparably larger and stranger than we used to give it any credit for, but the mental universe is also larger and stranger than we give it credit for. That we carry about inside our skulls an extraordinary world, a visionary world, a mystical world.
In terms of the times we live in, we have opportunities for spiritual growth and development that never existed before in the world. We have the whole world's spiritual riches potentially available to us. Now, the way it's almost always been when most people never went more than 20 miles from their home village is you were lucky if there was a spiritual teacher around at all, and you were lucky if the way that teacher taught fitted your personality at all so you could actually get somewhere with it.
We have a way of sort of valuing the rational aspects of our intellect and subordinating and actually sort of eradicating these kinds of experiences like intuition or direct knowing from children.
We're living in a very interesting time. The civilization that we call Western techno-industrial civilization is simultaneously becoming global and collapsing. As far as we know, historically, that's never happened before on this planet. I mean, civilizations have collapsed before. Rome collapsed. It collapsed from inside. Why? Because it depleted the granaries, the North African granaries. You have no bread to feed the soldiers. Forget it. The military, your military won't fight if they don't get fed. They didn't think about that, you see. The military, the empire always wants to expand, right? It's just like now. Just expand. We can do it. We've got the greatest military in the world. Well, it's not going to do you any good, you see. If you can't feed the soldiers, you can't pay for it. There's elements within the culture that want to keep things the same. That's true of the economy and politics too, you see. People who have power want to keep power. People who have wealth want to keep the wealth. That's the primary motivation. Capitalism, what's called the neoliberal model, is a dysfunctional system. It's not life sustainable. It doesn't support all of life. And half the population on the planet is living at a poverty level. 1 billion people who are permanently hungry. Tens of thousands of families who live full-time on a trash dump in Manila or Mexico City. You can't by any stretch of the imagination call that a civilization. The ecosystems on the entire planet are being stressed and overstressed to the maximum of their carrying capacity. Population is increasing exponentially, so vastly increasing demand on ever decreasing resources. It's a runaway system.
The best estimates are that a quarter of mammal species will be extinct in 30 years. Half of all species of life will be extinct in 100 years. All species of the next couple of decades are going to see tremendous dislocations and turbulence.
We are an integral part of nature. In some sense, the human being is like an expression of nature, which nature sort of perceives itself. It's like a sort of extension, of nature, and deeply embedded in nature and interconnected. And this is something that we lost, the awareness of this embeddedness and of this connection.
Shaman is one in contact with the spirit world. Who is this like for us in the West? This is like Christ, Buddha, any of the awakened ones who have traversed the full spectrum of being.